Hello there. Do you feel like you know words in English, but when people speak, it is still a little difficult for you to follow? In this video, we are going to practice your listening with real and clear English. We will also learn useful vocabulary. Let's begin. Today, I'm going to talk about living in the city and living in the countryside. Would you prefer to live in a big, busy city where everything is happening all the time? Or would you prefer to live in a quieter place, like in the countryside, surrounded by nature and calm spaces? It's interesting because for many people, this decision says a lot about their personality and the kind of life they want to build. In general, living in the city and living in the countryside feel like two completely different worlds. On the one hand, the city is usually fast, dynamic, and full of opportunities, while on the other hand, the countryside offers a slower rhythm, more silence, and a stronger connection with nature. And this difference affects not only what people do every day, but also how they feel. Let's start by talking about life in the city. One of the main advantages of living in the city is how convenient everything is. When I say convenient, I mean that you have many services and places very close to you. For example, if you need to go to a restaurant, a hospital, the supermarket, or the gym, you don't usually have to travel very far. Everything is available, and this saves you time. And because of this, a lot of people think that life in the city is more practical and efficient. Another important aspect is transportation. In many cities, you have access to buses, taxis, or metro systems, which allow you to move around without needing a car. At first, it sounds like a big advantage, and in many cases, it is. However, there is also a downside. Cities usually have heavy traffic, especially during peak hours. When I say peak hours, I mean the times during the day when people are going to work or getting back home. And during these hours, the streets are full of cars, and even a short distance, it can take a long time. Another thing that defines city life is the level of noise and activity. In a city, there is almost always something happening. You hear cars, people talking, music, construction, and many other sounds. For some people, this environment feels exciting and alive, but for others, it can be overwhelming and stressful, especially if they prefer quiet places. Even with these challenges, a lot of people still prefer living in the city. And the reason is simple. The city offers more opportunities. For example, there are more job options, more universities, more events, and more opportunities to meet new people. If someone is focused on growing professionally, learning new things, or building a career, the city often provides more options. What about you? Do you feel more comfortable in places that are active and busy? Or you prefer environments that are quiet and calm? Now let's talk about the countryside, which offers a very different experience. One of the first things you notice when you are in the countryside is the peace. There is less noise, less traffic, and fewer people. For example, instead of hearing cars all day, you might hear birds, the wind, or even complete silence. And that kind of silence can feel very relaxing for some people. In the countryside, you are surrounded by nature, mountains, rivers, and animals. This creates a different lifestyle because people usually spend more time outdoors and feel more connected to the environment. For a lot of people, this connection with nature has a positive effect on their mood and on their mental health. Daily life in the countryside is usually simpler but also more physical. Some people work on farms, take care of animals, or grow their own food. For example, they might wake up early and feed their animals, work on the land, and take care of different responsibilities. Of course, the countryside also has disadvantages. One of the main ones is distance. Many services are not nearby, so if you need to go to a hospital, buy something specific, study, or go to a bank, you might need to travel a long way. Also, job opportunities are usually limited in the countryside. However, something important to mention about this is that now there are a lot of options or there are a lot of companies that offer a remote work. So this is something positive. If you like working from home, of course. But for those people who don't like working from home, living in the countryside does not offer enough possibilities for growth. Would you be comfortable living far away from everything? Or do you need to have things close to you? So, when we compare both lifestyles, we can see that each one offers different things. In my case, I feel connected to both. I currently live in the city, so I understand the fast rhythm, the responsibilities, the entertainment, and the opportunities it offers. But at the same time, my family lives in the countryside. So I also understand that calm, that slower lifestyle, and the connection with nature. At the end of the day, there is no perfect place to live. It really depends on what you need in your life right now. Some people need movement, growth, and opportunities, and others need peace, balance, and simplicity. And sometimes what we need changes over time. Now I want to know about you. Where do you live right now? In the city or in the countryside? And if you could choose freely, where would you prefer to live and why? Try to explain your answer in the comments below using complete sentences. Thank you for listening and for practicing English with me. I hope this video helps you learn new vocabulary, understand real English, and improve your listening skills. Bye!